What if I told you that leaving a pile of loans and over-leveraged properties as your legacy is not a gift? It is a problem, not a present. I already know I am about to get so many comments of people disagreeing about my views on loans and cash flowing properties that are free and clear, but listen, I'm up for a good fight because I believe in what I'm doing. All right, my name is Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed, and I built a seven-figure rental portfolio with no trust fund, no bank loans, and no excuses. Just systems, just strategy, just mindset. And I created the Ashley method for one reason, and it's so that people like you can build real generational wealth, okay? Without burnout, without blind spots, without burying yourself and your kids in debt. I want to talk about what legacy really looks like. So I am going to challenge the idea that owning a bunch of mortgaged homes equals success. Oh God, hold on to your pearls, hold on to your horses, because I already know some of y'all are like, what? Everybody says get loans. Everyone says I need to get a mortgage loan and buy a investment property and use my credit card. All I can say is I use something I call the Ashley method, A.S.H.L.E.Y. And it is the same method that took me from overwhelmed to owning a seven-figure portfolio without a single bank loan. Every person, every family, every portfolio owner needs at least one free and clear, high cash flowing property, period. I call mine the cash cows. Especially if you're new, or if you new, by new, I mean like you have five or less properties, or if you have a bunch of properties, but all of them are leveraged. I'm definitely talking to you guys, okay? You need to start putting revenue in first position, period, if you're new and if you already have a bunch of properties leveraged. So let's get into this Ashley method, A.S.H.L.E.Y. And I'm going to break down each one line by line for you, okay? So I'll start with A. A is for asset. If it doesn't cash flow, I don't call it an investment. If the bank owns it and you're not the bank that owns it, you're not building wealth, you're holding a lottery ticket and you're hoping that the market saves you. I don't invest on hope, I invest for income, okay? I invest on profit. The S, so we covered the A, now the S, saving is silly. Yep, I said it. Come on with the comments. It's my podcast. I can say what I want. Your bank gives what, 1%? And meanwhile, my rentals give me between 15 and 30% returns. And let's be real, right now, inflation is 2.31%, and your savings earn less than that. So you're losing money every day. So no, I don't save to feel safe. I invest to actually be safe. Okay, the H is for high cash flow. I'm not chasing appreciation. I don't invest for someday. I buy for checks, not comps. You are not a pro yet if you're new. So you don't need a spreadsheet full of equity. You need revenue. Okay, I teach new investors to focus on high cash flow first. It's not the only thing. Over your 30 years of investing, you'll try many things, will diversify you, but you need to start with revenue in the first position, especially if you're new. Okay, and you need to do that with, in my opinion, properties that are between, 50 to 100K. You're going to buy it in cash because you're going to make mistakes when you're new. And you need a property that can handle the mistakes that you make and still be profitable. When you get into all of these loans and high leverage and all of that stuff like that, you can't make mistakes because that loan payment is still due, which leads me to the L. Loans are a 30-year job. They are. When you sign up for a loan to buy an investment property, you are telling that lender that for the next 30 years, for the next 360 months of my life, I am going to do whatever it takes to pay you every single month. You are signing away 30 years of your life. That means whether or not that property is cash flowing, you still have to make that payment. Natural disaster, you still have to make that payment. When going through a divorce, life happens, your kids go to college, taxes go up, insurance goes up, and Now the house is upside down. Guess you still have to make that payment. Okay, some of us, me included, can't even commit to a 30-year marriage, but you're committing to a 30-year loan for an investment property, especially if you're new, so you don't even know if you can even do this or hang in there that long. Do you know that 97% of investors quit or they are forced to quit due to death, divorce, disaster, taxes, or lawsuits? Did you know that? So that means there's only a 3% chance that you're going to even make it long enough to even pay the loan off. I digress. Listen, loans are a job. You are signing up to be a worker for someone. And finally, E. The E in Ashley is emergency equity, and the house becomes your employee. Okay, so your equity is your emergency fund. It's your backup plan. You can always cash out. You have that as a cushion. If all else fails, is your property. You can sell it. You can pull the equity out. You can sell it with owner financing, which is what I teach a lot of my clients to do. It's your house, free and clear, okay? And it's also, you know, one thing I like about it being free and clear, and this is going to give you a little bit about my history growing up in poverty. I always wanted to make sure that I had a place to live that like no one can put me out of. I always wanted that. And that is something that helps me sleep at night, just knowing that if all else fails, if I lose everything that I have, the houses that I own in cash, if I can just get a bus ticket to make it there, I have a place to live always and forever. Nobody can put me out of it. And in the markets where I invest, the taxes and insurance are what, $2,000 a year. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have to pay rent on it. Like that helps me sleep at night, especially if you've been around enough to have some life happen. Like, I've gone through divorce. I've gone through, real estate deals where I had to dig into my personal funds because of loans and mortgages and all of that stuff. I've been around this arena for a very long time. I've seen it all, done it all, and I'm telling you, for me, just knowing that I have that property there, just no matter what, helps me sleep at night. It does. And then your house is your employee. That's the other E. Okay, A.S.H.L.E. The My house makes me so much money. And let me tell you, I have been a school principal. I have owned several businesses. So I know what it's like to hire people, okay? I'm telling you, people are hard and people have problems. Houses, they don't talk back. They don't want benefits. They don't want raises. They don't want nothing. You buy it once and it works for you for as long as the house can survive. Okay. So, a lot of my properties are cash flowing me 1250. Well, actually, a lot of them went up because FMR just went up, but between 1250 and $2,000 a month. And these houses I pay between 50 and $100,000 for in cash. Some less than that, honestly. They're making me all of this money every single month. They're great employees. I love it. Okay. The house clocks in, not you. It pays you. It doesn't call off. Okay. If everything goes wrong, you have a cash cow. And this is also for my experienced investors where most of your portfolio is leveraged. You want to have at least a couple of cash cows. That way, when things do happen to your leveraged properties, you can pull from this cash cow. You have it there. You can pull from the equity. The cash flow is coming in every single month, and you can use that to cover some other things if needed. And the why? The why is get you a Yari before a Ferrari. So I think it's pronounced Yaris, but Yari rhymes better with Ferrari. But have you ever heard of a Toyota Yaris? It's like their most basic model, like the smallest Toyota, but essentially it is a great cash car. It's going to last forever, is durable, low maintenance, doesn't cost a whole lot when things go wrong. It's simple. There's a reason why everyone starts with a cash car when you're a teenager, right? Because you're new. You don't know a lot of stuff. You probably don't have a whole lot of extra money to put into the car. We need something that can take some damage. You can probably change the tire yourself. The issue with going with the loans that most of you guys are being advised to do is that's like a Ferrari, okay? That is complicated. That means you don't have room for errors, okay? It is high maintenance. It requires finesse and skill. It is expensive to mess up, okay? Expensive to mess up. And, on these houses that you guys have loans on, you don't own it. So you can be making payments for 29 years, okay? That 30th year, if you're missing payments, guess what? Foreclosed and the whole house goes back to the lender. Ask me how I know? Because I'm a lender. All right. The Yaris, you can scratch it up, you can hit the curb, you're not gonna lose sleep over it, right? If the Yaris has a scratch on it, who cares, right? When you get a scratch on a Ferrari, you're talking a couple $1,000s just to fix that. I mean, so the cash card gets you from point A to point B. And so does the A.S.H.L.E.Y method, okay? It takes you from surviving to thriving in this real estate game. It takes you from surviving to thriving in the game of life. You know how easy it is to sleep at night when you know, hey, listen, if all else fails, I don't have a payment on there. If, lightning hits it tomorrow, I'll just figure it out. It's a whole different ball game when you're thinking about a house that has a mortgage on there, a mortgage that you still have to make no matter what. If you don't have a tenant in there, that payment is still due. If you don't have a tenant in your cash house, it's like, it would be nice to have one, but it's not like I have an underlying loan that I need to pay on it, It gives you room for mistakes